What's up, Internet Land? Zacham's Prime, aka Zacham's Prime, with another Transformers Masterpiece review. And before you hear the word masterpiece and get your hopes all up, that's the figure we're reviewing. This figure is awful. And I'm not sure there's really any other... Like, coming right out and saying that up front is kind of a spoiler alert, yeah, but I mean, it's just... I don't know that there's really any other way to describe this figure. This figure is poorly designed and poorly posable and poorly... Like what this figure really needs is one of those Chinese companies to make a good quality KO of it. But, yeah, I saw one at Ross for like 25 bucks, and I was like, wow, 25 bucks, that's not bad for a, Transformers Masterpiece. And, I've got Prime and Bumblebee, and I've got a Megatron over there, though it's not strictly Masterpiece. I've got a Jazz over there, though it's not strictly Masterpiece. I mean, I've got all of the Movie 1 bots on my shelf. Mostly, certainly all the Autobots except for Ratchet. And so I was like, Ironhide, yeah, he's, it's just, never before have I bought a Masterpiece figure for $25 and still felt like I got ripped off. But that's really how I feel with this figure. It's just not that great. There is a DNA design, like, upgrade kit for it, that what it does is there's a bracket that goes across the back. And it's this strut that fits into here, and it locks these shoulders into place. And then it also has a couple little adapters to make these lock into place. And like, if we had that would be a couple of its major problems. But like, I have problems with the feet. The feet don't ever want to be in the right position. Like, they are sitting here right on the cusp of being between one click and the other, and that's a standing still. That's his static pose. It's just right there. And so he constantly wants to lean back a little bit, which means you have to, like, click the waist forward and, like, I don't know. Just in order to get this figure to pull off any kind of a pose is just... It's a lot of work, because the posability on this figure sucks. Normally I get on here and I just talk about figures that I like. Why? Because I don't ever really buy or invest myself into figures that I don't like. If I don't think I'm going to like a figure, I don't buy it. I don't have the resources to go around and buy every single figure that comes out so that I can give you guys a bunch of good reviews and a bunch of bad reviews. This is one of those cases where it was cheap, so I bought it, and I hate it. So, so let's get into it. In terms of accessories, all he comes with is these guns here. And they are super simple enough. They've got a simple peg. The end of it rotates. This one plugs into that arm. The other one plugs into his other arm. Maybe it's the other way around. I guess I'm not entirely certain. But, yeah, they plug in. But it doesn't do you much good because these panels do not clip into place. There's a tab right here and there's a slot right here. But that tab does not go into the slot at all. And so, it just doesn't work out. You can take this. There's a transformation panel around here to twist this around and put it on the side of the arm. Honestly, I kind of like this look better than the underarm slung anyhow. But, it doesn't really peg into that one that way either. It's just either way, it doesn't really plug in very well. It plugs in slightly better on this side, but slightly better is a far cry from good. And just so much on this figure is a far cry from good. But anyhow, with that out of the way, his accessories, with that out of the way, let's get into his posability. Let's take a quick once-over of the figure. He does have, you know, I mean, pretty much all the car panels are all painted black. So it's got this kind of glossy finish. It will pick up fingerprints, which under light, they'll show up pretty well. His face has got a pretty decent sculpt to it. Nicely, you know, nicely detailed with a little bit of asymmetry in it, you know. Gotta love a slightly asymmetrical face. He's got this, like, you know, boxer's face going on. He looked like he took a big old square hit right up here to his face and just never got over it. Autobot symbol tampoed there. Fair amounts of black paint. I do not like this thing that they've got with these Masterpiece figures where the die cast is like naked. It's bare. Like there is black paint on these die cast parts, but where there's no die cast paint, where there's no die cast, it's just bare zinc alloy. And it just looks awful. But yeah, there's die cast here on the heel, here on the toe, here on the knee, here on the dick plate. And that's it for die cast on him. From the back, he even cleans up fairly well. I do not like these panels here. I kind of prefer to tuck them in here. That kind of puts them in out of the way. But of course, if you've got the DNA design kit, that won't work at all because the strut goes right through this space. So you'd have to stick those out and be all obnoxious looking. But I think conceptually this figure is not bad. But just the execution could have used a bit more time to really refine it. But anyhow, let's get into his articulation. So his head is on a hinge that goes up, and really not really any down, but up quite a bit. Rotates just fine, more or less. He will clunk his chin into these shoulder panels, but I mean his neck joint is restricted. Wait, no, it's not. If you squeeze it around things, it'll rotate all the way around. He does have an opening mouth, which I suppose is cool if it looked like an opening mouth. It's even with his mouth open, it's hard to like get the impression that, oh yeah, his mouth is open. Unless you maybe open it just like a little bit. But I don't know. He just, with his like snout face, he kind of looks like a Planet of the Apes reject, to be honest. But that's more with the original design of the figure and not reflecting poorly on the this execution here. His shoulder is on a joint here that rotates and moves in and out. And as many people will comment, it rotates and moves in and out, maybe a little too freely. Anytime you want to bump this arm, you're going to end up moving this thing around. Which is, you know, a bit of an issue, but you just kind of, you know, tuck everything in and pray for the best, and it works out most of the time. His shoulder is atrocious. So it's not on the side of his body, it's on the back of his body. And it's just this hinge here that rotates out like so. And it's a terrible place to put an arm, because if you want to move his arm forward, like, this is how you have to do it. And not only did his arm never move like this in the movie, but like, it's just a super awkward way to move. So you got to kind of, you know, keep this back so that it doesn't look obnoxious, and then like bring this around like so. Now he just looks like he's just like reaching around like some like steroid or like a beast shoulder. It's clunky and obnoxious looking, and it's obnoxious feeling. But he's got a joint here, and then he's got another joint right here. And then he's got a swivel here, and then an elbow joint. He's got this shit show, which doesn't ever stay put, no matter what you want to do. Sorry, but it's true. Wrist is on a hinge and a rotation. He's got 2 joints here for his thumb, so he can give you a thumbs up. Be like, yeah, everything is great, but he's lying to you because, like, this whole thing is a dumpster fire. His finger is on 2 joints, and his 3 fingers are on 2 joints. This is as widespread as his hand gets because of the design of his knuckles. His fingers won't extend fully, so they're actually nice and straight, but they're like nice and straight at an angle like this. So I do like figures where their fingers can get straight, but like unfortunately they can't get all the way straight with this guy's hand. So again, I think that's kind of a poor design. His legs are so he's got a hip joint here, and it goes in and out on just this little smooth joint here, and then it kind of ratchets in and out. And then there's another joint below it to kind of put the whole thing out and kind of like widen his stance. And if you move this out, his leg can get, you know, quite a bit forward, quite a bit back. Nothing you can really do to make it go out much more than like 20% of a Van Damme. Not a whole lot of Van Damme it going on. He's got a single joint at the knee for like 30 degrees of motion, if that. It's ridiculous. Rotation, though, I guess that's cool, you know. His leg has got quite a bit of articulation backwards and a little bit of wiggle back and forth. So with the amount of articulation his hips don't give you, then his ankles actually work out just fine. And that's probably the nicest thing I can say about it. I'm just putting it off at this point. Let's get into his transformation. I hate myself already. Alright, let's take these off and throw those away, because you don't want them ever again. Just put them in the dumpster, or shove them down the garbage disposal, whichever you prefer. Let's start with the legs. They're the worst. They're the least of the worst parts, so let's get them over with the fastest. You want to unhook this part from here. Well, you want to bend this knee and bring up this little die-cast kneecap part. That'll allow you to bring this part around. Then you can just kind of pull this straight out, and it kind of rotates around like so. And then you pull up this panel right here and bring this all around. Now this panel will attach in, and there isn't really a spot that it wants to go. Basically, the best way to figure out if you've got it in the right place is you can take this heel and open it up. So this is all open up. And then this is actually going to clip into that at some point. And whatever that point is, that's where it's supposed to be. And then just take this and hinge this in. This tab here will plug into the back end of the bumper. And then there is, you can't see it because it's all black plastic and black plastic, but there's a tiny little slot right there. And there's a little tab right here. That tab will go into that slot. Probably. And that's the leg all done. Like I said, this is actually the easiest part of this whole process. So let's do this on the other side. So bring that out, bend the knee, bring that up, bring this all around, bring that back down, pull this straight out, bring it around, close this. Tab that in, bring this around, tab that in. fold up his toe and plug in that joint there. Bring this around. Plug that into its place like so. Bring the legs together. There are a series of tabs. Clip them together. And enjoy yourself, because this is as easy as it's ever going to get. You want to bring this down. These pegs right here will plug into these screw holes right here. You want to bring this around like so. And then that will kind of clip in right here. Da-da-da-da. All right. So, you want to take this and extend that out. You want to push this part here or pull it out from this side, whichever you prefer. And that will kind of come around. You can open this up and just leave it there for now. The head will tuck into the chest. Basically all the way. I thought I went a little more than that, but you know. You want to disconnect these arms. There's a tab right here that goes into a slot. You want to untab that just to get these going freely. For the hands, you want to open up the hands just enough like that. And then fold it in. So this is absolutely a nightmare, this next part, because you're going to have to deal with a lot of like tabs and panels and stuff like that. And one thing that this figure does not do is tabs and panels very well. So fold this little detail away. That just folds up and shoves in there. And kind of take this section out, hinge it out on its double joint. And the idea is to get, well, let's unpeg this panel here. That'll make things easier, because I would absolutely hate to get it like lined up into place and then find that I have to unpeg that panel, which will then dislodge everything. So you kind of want to like put these parts like that. There's a tab right here that's supposed to go into a slot in the like hood section of this, but it really won't. This panel here, you can just ignore that for now. You want to bring this up and in. There's a tab here. This tab wants to go in, slot in right into the back window section here. And if you can get all that to fit in properly, then, well, it doesn't even matter, because we still have to like tab this hood section into this section here. Oh, real quick before I forget, you want to pull this grill out, flip it around, and put it in. For both sides. Otherwise it would say GMC MC. It actually would be GM GMC MC. So yeah, that would be weird. But so this arm, we're going to kind of get everything into position as well. But not actually put everything into position, because then we have to get these to fit together, and oh my god, this is a nightmare. So, if you can get the hood pieces to fit together, well, then you're probably a better man than me. But no contest there. Yeah. Okay. Alright, I think I've got that started. Now keep this squeezed together, because now there's all this stuff on the bottom. Take the last bit of the grill. Ugh, there we go. Plug that in. It's all going to come undone here in just a little bit. There's tabs on the corner of this bumper. You want to plug them into their respective spots. And then come around to the back. Kind of wrestle these like struts. Yeah, let's get this. I'm not sure whether to tilt this up or tilt this down, so maybe I won't do either. You want to wrestle these struts into their proper place, but their proper place is not easily shown. As best as I can figure, when you get them into a position where these tabs right here will go into these slots right here, then that's probably about as good as it's gonna get. Now, try and weasel all of this in together. This is the part. This is the spot for all the apples. See, these tabs want to go behind there, like that. There, like that. Plug these. Oh, shit. I was working on the alignment, but then everything has shit the bed. So, that's great. There's tabs in here that the windshield is supposed to plug into that front hood section, but they don't really want to plug in. So the best way to do it is to line up these tabs on the back and then kind of wheedle in these tabs on the front. Get those together. Oh, that came undone again. Crap. So with these being squeezed together, then you want to try get this slot to work, and also this little tab right here. That little tab isn't much of a problem, but that slot is just a complete pain in the ass. Oh, except for this time. What do you know? Oh, this half actually looks almost dignified. Almost proper. But it's not. That's probably actually about as good as I'm going to get it. It's probably about as good as I'm going to get it. Oh, that's just such a half-assed thing to say. Because I can't turn these wrists anymore. Like, I feel like if I... Oh, crap. If I move these fingers out of the way, then I could get those arms to plug in tighter. But there's a thumb on the other side of this, so I can't rotate them in any further. This is where they've got to go. I don't know. It's awful. It's awful, and I hate it. All right. Yeah, we'll just call it. We're calling it. There's Ironhide in his vehicle mode. And, gosh, what a... Oh, crap. Oh, crap. There we go. Let's try and push that back in. And, oh, gosh, what a wonderful vehicle mode. Come on. Oh, crap. Gosh, what a wonderful vehicle mode it is. It just looks just like, you know, it drove right off of the movie screen onto my desk. It's amazing. Yeah. No. I mean, if all the panels were lined up properly, then yes, it would make a pretty good Chevy top kick alt mode. I'm going to just display it from this side. This side looks a little bit better than the other side. It would look like a decent pickup truck thing. Unfortunately, the panels don't line up, and it doesn't look like a decent pickup truck. And there's not really... I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing wrong on this figure. Aside from, you know, buying it in the first place. Autobot symbol sculpted in there. GMC labeling. I wonder how this got past GMC. They're like, yeah, it looks like a truck. That's all it really needs to be. They didn't be like, wow, your product is a piece of garbage. I don't want to put my name on that. Road Armor. That's the brand of this bumper. Road Armor. He does have weapon storage, and it is these little pegs right here. So what you do is you plug that into there, and then this whole peg folds out like that. Why? I don't know. It doesn't disguise it, it doesn't hide it, doesn't make it look any better. But yeah, you just plug it into there and then fold the peg out. This one only folds out like halfway, and don't know why. It doesn't look any better, but it's definitely, you can see here where the end of the peg is, and it definitely folds out as far as it's designed to go, but it's only designed to fold out halfway, and the other side is designed to fold out all the way. So it looks awfully asymmetrical. None of the panels want to line up. Half the panels don't even want to plug into each other. Like the alt mode, at the very least, is as bad as the robot mode. And that's actually a nice thing that I can say about this figure. I do not recommend it. I don't even know if I'm interested in tracking down like an unofficial KO to see if maybe they've put, you know, engineering improvements into it, that it works better. In fact, okay, if anybody watching this has got a KO of this that's the same scale as the original MP7, and if it's good, like, and I mean like actually good, not just like, yeah, it looks okay on the shelf, like if it's actually fun to like play with and whatnot and transform, you know, like it fits together and poses, drop me a link or comment in the comments down below, and I'll happily pick one up, because this figure is it's just bad. It's just awful. And I bought it because I'm such a freaking whore for cheap figures. I don't know. I was miscalculating that day. But anyhow, everybody, thanks for watching. You guys are amazing. Everybody, stay awesome and be good to each other. And go ahead and leave me a like, because that doesn't cost you anything at all, and it helps me quite a bit. So, anyhow, love you guys. Bye.